All right, good morning, everybody. Let's try this again. So I want to make sure you have the most pleasant experience possible. I know we was having some audio issues. Hopefully those issues have been cleared up. Let me know in the chat below, and I will monitor it. Yes, we're back. I'm a man of my word. We are back. So let's give it a little bit because we were on, then we were off. That means people are getting mixed notifications. It may take a minute for people to find us. Hey, what's up, Janice? It may take a little minute for people to find us and for us to get back to where we were before. So in that time, let me set the table again because what I'll probably end up doing is going back and just deleting that stream. We were up for a little bit, but yeah, no more echo. I don't know. You never can tell. Never can tell. I didn't do anything wrong. Different. I didn't do anything different. Boy. Daryl says it sounds the same. Nakia writes no more echo, so could be some different experiences out there. We'll see as more people come back in. What's up, Fox? What's up? I'm reading that there's a new fund. I want to tell all the entrepreneurs out there, somebody sent me a link, so I'll pass it on to you. And there's a new fund that's been created. I think it's called Fund Noir. And they're going to be launching it pretty soon. They got about $1.5 million. Is for black small business owners, right? And there's a brother here locally. His name is Rico Grant, who is behind all of this. His name keeps coming up. I've never met him before, but he's doing some great work in the city, so I wish him the best. But sound a little hollowed out? Okay. See, I'm not sure. At this point, I don't want to keep going back and forth with it. I mean, you know, it is what it is. We'll rock and see how it goes. Appreciate you. East Coast Bryce, you sound a little hollowed out. Yeah. Like you're on a speakerphone. I wonder if I inadvertently turned something on or off. I don't think so. So I'm looking at everything. I don't think so. It's just sometimes these things are just inexplicable, right? What's up, East Coast? What's up, East Coast on YouTube? Sometimes these things happen that way. I'm not sure what it is. But either way, you got me up until about 10 a.m. this morning. Still, I have a guest scheduled to Zoom style into the show in about an hour. Can hear you clearly, though. Okay, you can hear me clearly. Okay. Tanika says sound. So it seems like it's varying there. So, but everything is back up. The streams are back up. We're back on Facebook. Does it, Pamela? You know what? That's interesting. He said Spreaker sounds better. On some levels, I can see that. On some levels. Just haven't been dealing with them for a while. I can see that. Sound just fine. Okay, Janice, thank you so much so we can get back to where we were. But let me set the table over again because essentially this will be the start of the show. Making people feel bad about slavery and discrimination is bad? Well, that's what's happening down in Florida where these GOP lawmakers have now passed a bill that will go before Governor Ron DeSantis that will limit what you can say in terms of teaching about race in K through 12 schools. Doesn't matter. It doesn't have any impact on universities, but K through 12. And essentially, you can't make people feel bad. People don't want to feel bad. Like modern day white folks, I guess, are concerned that their children are going to be made to feel bad for something that they didn't do. Huh? Well, nobody ever said you did do it. That's the other thing about it. I don't believe these teachers are like, you know what, you should feel bad about this. If you feel bad, it's because there's something to feel bad about. I mean, it was a Holocaust, a tragedy. It wasn't even a tragedy. It was evil. So yeah, you know, you're going to feel bad about that. That's like saying, well, we're not going to teach about the Holocaust because Germans might feel bad about what Germans did back in the day. Who cares? So what? Feel bad about it. Feel bad. I mean, get over it. Or don't. Or if you feel so bad about it, get out here and become an ally in modern day times. But it's what people are calling the culture wars. These type of issues have been going on for a long time. Republicans love these kind of issues, right? These are the kind of issues they use to get people out in droves to vote. They're going to be teaching your kids that white is wrong and black is right. Now, why does a third grader have to learn about the slavery? They don't need to learn about the slavery. The slavery happened, it was bad, and now the slavery is over with, right? That's how some people feel, obviously. They're very sensitive about it. Me, not so much. I'm not sensitive about anything that happened. Whatever happened, happened. I don't care if it was black. I don't care if it was white. I don't care if it was here in America. I don't care if it was in Africa. I don't care if it was in Europe. I don't care if it was in Antarctica. I don't care if it was in Greenland. I don't care if it was in the Bermuda Triangle. I mean, if that's what happened, teach what happened. But again, they want the masses to be dumb so they can put stuff in your head. They want to dumb down the masses. They want you doped up. They want you doped up, legal drugs, sugar, fast food, all the shit that just makes you less than being your best self so they can be on top. And I'm not talking about just black and white. I'm talking about those that have and those that don't. It's good? Okay, great. What up, Lemmy? Sounds great. Kush, great. You can hear me? Great. Just sounds a little hollow. Sorry about that. You must have that good old, what, you got a brand new iPhone or something? Super sensitive speaker system or something, Daryl? Or you just have really sensitive ears. It could be. I don't know. The legal drugging of America. I mean, come on, man. We're not our best self. Americans are not their best selves. Nowhere near it. Nowhere near. They like it. K.M. Scott writes, you're right. This argument is even causing threats to my wife who teaches African American studies at a university in Northern Virginia. It's crazy, right? I listen, you can teach my kids about all of it. Whatever history is whatever history it is. If it makes you feel something, that just means that you're human. So if they're teaching you about, the Holocaust of, enslaved Africans and people start to feel bad, well, good. You should feel bad about it. You should feel bad about it. And that's it. Now, if that propels you to become a better person, great. If that, pushes you to become an ally of oppressed people, then great. Or if you just say, you know what, that was some bad ish. I'm going to make sure I don't want to never be a part of that again. And you leave it just like that. Cool. That's the whole point of it. But to deny the history is just all a part of the overall game to keep Americans stupid. They want to surveil. They want to know what you're doing, who you talking to, who's in your DMs, which way you drive to work, what you're eating, what you like to do, what are your Pornhub habits. They want to know everything about you at the same time. They want you to be as dumb as possible so that when they tell you something, you just roll with it. I think they're right? We're not doing none of that. It's all history, right? It's all history. I don't care. Teach them all. If it's history, it's history. And I don't care what it is. It makes no difference to me. But this is white fragility. This is fragility. Once again, where some people are so fragile that they don't even want to hear the truth. It's like, don't tell me the truth. No, I can't take it. You're harming me. This is abuse. Abuse. Everything's abuse these days. Oh, this is abuse. You're abusing me. I wasn't there. I couldn't do anything about it. Why are you telling me? Cam Scott writes, she even teach high school teachers how to instruct students in an increasingly diverse environment. You can't make this ish up. Daryl writes, I got the iPhone 12, but that's not the problem. I tried to put the problem on you. Daryl's like, nah, don't try that, bro. Don't you even try. That's you and your shoddy equipment. Shaba writes, so like I was saying, Morning, just curious if there's a Negro Ukrainians fighting against Russia, would they be considered the new Buffalo Soldiers? I am Shaba 100. I am Shaba. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Jerica's in the house waiting for me to say something so she can just jump straight on it, aren't you, Jerica? I already know. She writes, Ola, beautiful black people, and the others too. I already know. Brought that man in here talking all that jazz to them women's. Meeting with women's, talking about how they look good. Where's your wife? That's hilarious. That is hilarious. Look at her. She is cracking up. I already know. I got to be on point. Can't say nothing about the woman's. I say anything about the woman's, she going to be all over me. Good morning to you. 513-873-7134. Let me tell you about these grants. This is in the Cincinnati Biz Journal. About $1.5 million fund. The effort is going to be for black-owned small businesses to help them launch and grow. dedicated for black entrepreneurs here in the city of Cincinnati. Again, props to the brother Rico Graham for what he's doing. It's called Fund Noir, and it's dedicated to black small business owners in Cincinnati. So if you're a black-owned small business owner or business owner, now you know, you look into it. You might get some money out of it. Telling all my entrepreneur friends about it. Check it out. Somebody send it to me, I send it to you. And that's a greater Cincinnati thing. I love it, man. I'm going to say this again. I keep saying it. And history might true, or the future might prove me to be true. Cincinnati is a city on the come up, on the rise. There's a lot of great people planting seeds. Cincinnati might be a hub for black entrepreneurs in the near future. I mean, we are the birthplace of mortar. And as they expand their influence throughout the country, if not the globe, they're going to be centered here. So, I mean, there's just a lot of things I see that are happening around the city from a creative standpoint, from a cultural standpoint, from an entrepreneurial standpoint, like even from a political standpoint, that could really, really, really bear some fruit in about 15 years. Now, you're like, damn, that's a long time. How old will I be, Nate? I may not be here, but I mean, I stand by that. And you heard it here first, I'm telling you. Cincinnati has the potential now. It's going to take a whole lot of good people working in the same way with a lot of intentionality between now and then. But it could happen. What else are we going to do with this city? I mean, where else can we go but up? I mean, that's the only other place for us to grow, is to grow our entrepreneur base, make some new money, 100,000aires or millionaires or whatever. And then just increase the opportunities for people to enjoy the renaissance here in Cincinnati. But let me go back to the phones. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Nathan. It's Nicole. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Nicole. Good morning.
Awesome. The topics today, I already got my blood boiling. You know how this, particular subject, what it means to me. We discussed this a couple of times on the Truth to Power podcast, and I think even our last one, we had a wonderful professor, Dr. Jackson from NKU, who's a historian and teacher of Black Studies over there, kind of touch on the same subject. But it's just very disappointing to hear that more laws are being passed, in different states. And it makes me think about a leadership conference I had attended under our good friend, Derek Bozeman, in Atlanta. And just had a combination of just different individuals throughout the country coming to this leadership class of people from Florida and Georgia and, wherever. And, they would be the NAACP presidents of this, state or whatever. And just to hear in some capacities what people were still fighting for. Like it was, a small county in Alabama, and they were still fighting to get body cameras on their officers. We just think like we're so far beyond that point, but it's just like the will of people in certain areas. The only way something like this go down, and we could say it in the same fashion here, because how the hell did we allow Stand Your Ground to get through? Now we're about to have a Senate Bill 215, but these are like on like, at this level, we're talking about some of the basic things that people at this point should have and they still fighting for. But that right there, that's such an insult to people of color, oppressed people, historically. Like if my child was attending the public school, like one, students should be protesting. I wouldn't go to school. I wouldn't go to school. I would protest. All this should be out there protesting. Like, we want you to study. How dare you? This is offensive and everything else. All the organizations out there. I mean, it should just be a big call. They should be protesting outside the legislator or whatever necessary. Enacting some recall measures, like whatever they need to do. Like it's just so blatant and disrespectful. And it's just like accountability. It's becoming like a lost virtue. I mean, everything from police. They don't want to be held accountable for in custody deaths, from unarmed individuals. But white people, they don't want to be held accountable for what was done in the past. And not to say like it is their fault. This is we're all a new generation, but we all bear the burdens of our ancestors. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's a continuation of, you know, some people generational wealth and some is generational poverty, and it all has an origin and a reason for it. And the fact that we've never addressed this situation properly, and people being rightfully and held accountable just because you was able to kick the ball down the field centuries on out, and then just be like, well, it's been so long ago, so just let's not worry about it. That's not how it goes, because the pain, the trauma, you know, the mere fact that, like, I carry the name of the slave owners. You know, I don't carry the name of it affects us all. You know what I mean? And it's just like, and the fact that people will leave this earth, many have already left this earth, never knowing their true origins, never knowing who they really are. You know what I mean? That's a crime in itself, because your culture, it's pride in culture, you know, and who you come from, and they easily can trace their history and their lineage, and for us, it becomes problematic. You know what I mean? Like, you can start here, then you know, you have to do some real extensive social things for the science and everything these days. Like, if you really, you know, invest and take the time to do it, you can. But I just feel like what's going on is a travesty, and part of the reason is too because, you know, white people are feeling this way because really, when you think about racism and just this white supremacy in itself, like, it has perpetrated the whole world. So they are the perpetrators of all the tribes of color, whether it's Native American, you know, Japanese American, so any, you know, the perpetrator is the same person. So, you know, to a degree, it's like, this is known, they know this, you know, and you just got a segment that of individuals who don't want to be held accountable for it. They don't want the next generation to be the generation of change. And that's what it really is. Knowledge is power. And when you are able to remove that and you know, diminish the knowledge, or it's even quotations on woke, you know, they try to make a thing out of that, because people were actually getting a real grip and understanding of this country and the way things work, and capitalism, and just, you know, that's just like on a whole nother level. But what this country has done is just having, like you said, humanity. It's like, that's not right. That wasn't right. What can we do now? You have like these little states and little cities, and, you know, everybody trying to do their own little reparation package, which honestly, that's not enough, because it's this country. This is written into law, you know, across the land, the nation. So, you know, on a federal level, it has to be dealt with. You know, it has to encompass all of these things, and nobody want to touch it. Nobody want to talk about it, because it's just like, you know, they make it seem like it's bigger than what can be done, and really, in actuality, and I've written my own proposals. You know, there's multiple things that can be done to begin the process of amending. But what you will not do, what you cannot do, is sit up here and create laws to say, like, what we will not teach, and to smother the truth. Like, that is, if they would even attempt some shit like that here in Ohio, I swear on everything. You know, it would be over. I don't even think, I know that they are trying and they are attempting these things, but I mean, they would be met with a force so out of they, you know, they wouldn't be ready for that. They wouldn't be ready for that. But we got to be mindful and engaging and just what's going on, because they do try to throw a lot of things out there to keep you, you know, off of what they really trying to do. And before you know it, things will get slipped in. And so it's hard to stay vigilant on all these things. But what I do know, that when these calls are made out, you know, with complete unity, the people, we got to come through. We got to come through. We got to be united, and we got to be on the same page. And if it's a small little ask of calling the governor or sending an email, or if you got time, going up to the state house or whatever the situation is, make time to do it. It's not just for you, it's for your kids, it's for their kids, and somebody did it for us. So we have to have the initiative to at least have the will to fight. You know, some of these other states, they don't have the will. Ain't nobody inspired. They just letting things happen. They become complacent, and laws like that will flourish on top of other things. And we just gotta fight. We gotta fight it. We got idiots, you know, at the pen writing these laws. We gotta get them out of here. Part of the reason why this is, you know, they're winning on the state level is because of gerrymandering. You know, they have a lock on that, and it's y'all a diabolical game, because it's like gerrymander the states in such a way where you have the majority, so you know they're claiming state rights and they do all these things, but on the federal level, it's kind of more of like what the country really feels. But it's just like neck and neck, but it's only neck and neck because most of these states are like our states where, you know, conservatives, they have the clear advantage. And if we was able to just like break some of that and really have what the people, you know, how we really vote and how we really feel, and getting real individuals here who are held accountable. That key word again, nobody wants to be held accountable. Who's the senator of Bishop who doesn't come to any meetings. Can't even think of his name right now to see his face, but you know. Part of the reason why is because of this getting his feet shattered. He feels no accountability. He votes the way he does and everything else because he's safe in his seat. We got to collapse that and really work on that. I'm so glad that the state Supreme Court and keep throwing back these proposals by the conservative legislators, and even now this new independent board who's still, you know, majority conservative, threw it back in their face just yesterday. We don't know when the primary is going to be. You know what I'm saying? But and they say you got up to 30 days to get this right. I'm glad that they're not just going for it. Hopefully other states follow through, but it's just going to take a lot. Every state going to have their own initiative to create change. So in a grand collective way, it'll have an impact that voices are truly heard. But it takes work. It's going to take work. So I'm going to get off my soapbox. Y'all have a great morning, Chandra.
You too. Take it easy. Take it easy. She went in, but we need to hear it. Appreciate it. She's right about it. I mean, you know, that's why F would insist on NAACP. They don't just talk about it. They actually put action behind it and then provide opportunities for you, the public, citizens, to get involved. So, yeah, they'll go to the State House, testify. They'll organize caravans. Like all of the things that the other side use to try to put pressure. That's just, you know, these tools of democracy or civic engagement or however you want to talk, whatever the proper way is, the term is. But they offer those opportunities to get active here in the state of Ohio. And, you know, people talk a real good game. Some people will talk that real good-ish and then don't show up. They talk that good-ish. We got to do this, we got to do this. Oh, can't make time for it, so. She kept saying the word accountability. So let me kind of use that as a springboard to talk about something that is in the news. Obviously, it is in the news. I think we should have larger conversations about this. I don't know if we will or not because there's other things to talk about. You know, MLB is going back and sports and whatever else, COVID and masks. But speaking of accountability, for the first time, the family behind the opioid epidemic had to deal with accountability face to face. Y'all hear about this? Everybody knows about the opioid epidemic. Over 500,000 Americans lost their lives ODing. A lot of these folks was getting this from OxyContin, which is a drug that was promoted and sold by the Purdue Pharmaceutical Company, which is owned by the Sackler family. And for the first time ever, they met face to face in the courtroom. Well, really, it was a virtual hearing. So they weren't in the room together. It was a virtual hearing. And it was emotional, y'all. Basically, you had people that was playing like the 911 recordings of when they called emergency services because their relative had overdosed. In one example, a woman whose son overdosed on OxyContin, She still had the recording. She played that during the virtual meeting. This was all put in place because, there's a big time settlement. Like, the government already had a settlement in place for the Sackler family. These are dope dealers, basically. You don't really see a lot of images of the Sackler family, Sackler. Dope dealers, legal dope dealers. And these are the people who were behind the opioid epidemic. You know what I'm saying? Some of that white on white crime. I know we don't call it that because we don't do that unless it's black folks, but that's essentially what it is. We always talk about black people selling poison to black people. This is white folks that were selling poison to white folks, got a whole lot of people addicted for a long time. Had a huge impact all across the country. Remember when we was having those epidemics of overdosing? Remember that? Narcan, remember this? Sackler family. Those were the people that were behind OxyContin. Those are the folks who are responsible. It's just so interesting how the government gave them like a sweetheart deal where they had to pay like $4.6 billion in settlements. But after that, they would be immunized from further lawsuits. Huh? Then another judge came in and said, nah, that ain't gonna work. That's not in accordance with the law. So we'll have to see what actually happens, man. But man, you got, Pookie and Ray Ray run around town and got a sack of weed on them. They might not even make it to the jail because they got weed on them. Whoa. Meanwhile, these folks making hundreds of millions of dollars selling OxyContin legally, and they knew about the addiction risk. But hey, it's the legal drugging of America. It was making that money. Again, over 500,000 Americans at this point, probably larger than that, have died due to that, and people are still dealing with their addictions. It's just so interesting how we pick and choose. Like, if you a street level dope dealer, oh my God, we gotta do no knock warrants to get you. We got the dogs and the helicopters. It's like you damn Pablo Escobar out here. Meanwhile, these folks making money. Living in big old houses, multiple. And, they're getting deals cut for them to immunize them from some further penalty. And we'll have to see if there's going to be any criminal prosecution in it as well. But as I was reading through several articles, if you just type Sackler family face to face, man, there's so many articles. And as I got into it, man, there's some people out there that lost people because they were addicted to OxyContin. They succumbed to the drug. They're not here anymore. And it all came out in this virtual hearing. Like, at some point, somebody said, basically, y'all scum of the earth. Somebody else said, you MF and killed my family member, you murder. From what I'm reading, I haven't seen it, but from what I'm reading, it got real. It got real. Over 24 people were able to directly confront the Purdue Pharma owners about the overall human toll of the opioid crisis. And it's just very, very interesting. They had 26 speakers from 19 different states. This was all over the country. Now, this was for a bankruptcy hearing for Purdue Pharma, but it made the Sackler family rich by producing OxyContin. They got rich. The Sacklers who attended it, this is all virtual now, but one of them, Richard Sackler, never even turned on his camera to show his face. Now, that's disrespectful. You in a meeting and one person don't got their camera on. It's damn disrespectful. Turn your camera on. There's rules to this. And here you are in a virtual hearing, right? And these people are talking about their pain. He don't even turn the camera on. Couldn't deal with it. And they weren't allowed to respond to the victim, so I guess they said, whatever. Telling you, man, it's that legal drugging of America. And some people believe that the Justice Department should pursue criminal charges. I believe that the Justice Department should pursue criminal charges for two reasons. Number one, that's what they've been doing with these low-level dope dealers. Any little technicality, any little thing I can get you on, they go for it. We're not going to do this with the big-time OxyContin drug lords. I think the Justice Department should they should review the case or cases with a fine-tooth comb. If they see any reason to pursue criminal charges, they should go after them. But I wonder if they will. A state attorney general blasted the DOJ's initial pharma settlement, calling it a mirage of justice. So you had state attorney generals looking at the DOJ, and oh, by the way, this is Biden's DOJ, Department of Justice, saying, look, throw the book at these cats. You get Pookie and Ray Ray, these motherfuckers got a joint back in the day, you want to lock them up. Oh, you scourge the society. What about your mama? What are you doing to your community? You don't care about you. A little bit of classism there. A lot of bit of classism. So the Department of Justice, they actually reversed it. They took a lot of heat for that. So another judge reversed it. So we'll see what happens. I say go after criminal charges. I'm not sure what those charges would be. I don't have all the information, but if there's any way they can get them on anything, throw the book at their asses. But I wonder if they will. Or will they get away with it? And all over Twitter, man, there's people that's putting up these commentaries. There's one woman who posted a photograph of herself and her now departed husband who committed suicide because he was addicted. He was a former firefighter, and he was just on that slow circling the drain of drug addiction, ended up committing suicide. She blames the Sackler family. Quote, I pray you get exactly what is coming for you. That's what she told Richard Sackler. But again, he didn't have his cam on as I'm reading here. So that's the world we live in. Yep. If you on the street corners, oh my God, we can spare no expense. We got to get you living in the big house behind the facade or the facade of it being a pharmaceutical company. It's dope dealing. Dope is dope is dope is dope. Period. Legal drugging of America, we got no problem of it. I would probably say it probably has more of an impact than like the illegal, illicit street drugs, right? But high is high. Destroyed family is destroyed family, whether it's heroin or it's OxyContin. What difference does it make? Dead is dead. But we do that. We do that in American culture, right? If you're on the street corner selling it, you are the worst of the worst. Your mama should be ashamed. Everybody in your whole creation should be ashamed of you, because why are you out here selling dope to your people? You got a big time pharmaceutical company, you're doing it legally. Same impact, if not even a worse impact. DOJ want to make deals with you. Let's make a deal. You're too big to fail, right? It's the world we live in. Get in where you fit in. Fugazi, Nate, right? Crystal writes, right, press charges. Absolutely. But, it's just so interesting that you can put a name behind the crisis. Remember all that stuff? Now, it's not as much of a conversation as it was, let's say, 5 years ago. 4 years ago. Oh, man, it was every day. And what are we going to do? Emergency services are being just overrun. They're trying to get private citizens to learn how to administer Narcan. I'm not administering no Narcan. I don't know what to do. Now I'm responsible for this person's life? That is heavy. Damn. That was before COVID hit. But again, all of this had to do with their bankruptcy settlement. They're going through that process right now, and people had a chance to throw in some testimony. They threw it in. And the initial DOJ settlement, see, what happened initially is when we found out is that the Sackler family, when they knew that trouble was on the horizon, they started moving money offshore. It's been calculated that they moved about $13 billion offshore. So if something went wrong with the American courts, their money would still be, it'd be untouchable. You can do that? Oh man, Pookie and Ray Ray, they taking your car on the spot. You better be here. You better be there. But I mean, I guess you can only, if your arms don't reach long enough to get the Sacklers, what can you do, right? There it is. So if you're going to sell dope in America, do it the right way. Get a pharmaceutical company and do it legally. Okay, that's how you sell dope in this country. You can get away with it. It was like white people on crack. See, we're not supposed to put it that way, but on some levels, I get what you're saying. You're right. Angela writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. A lot of top level Fed officials, hold on a second here, were in on the OxyContin conspiracy. I wouldn't doubt it. When the money flowing in, nobody wants the money to stop flowing. Where the money reside, where the money reside. Where the money reside. That's all that really matters. Tell me I'm wrong. So if you do any Google searches today, Google Sackler family, Sackler. You're gonna see a multitude of these stories that come up. You can read about it themselves. Like, wow. Purdue Pharma seeks approval of a $6 billion opioid settlement. So if you got $13 billion and you got to give up $6, I'm left with $7 billion. $7 billion. I guess we'll squeeze by. We'll have to squeeze by. Anybody ever took OxyContin before? I'm trying to remember. I think that I was prescribed OxyContin many years ago for a basketball injury. And I never took it because just because the doctors give me some shit don't mean I take it. I think I had something going on with my knee or my ankles, either or. I go to the doctor. It was like a sports medicine doctor. He prescribed me. I remember him saying, him talking about OxyContin. I think it was relatively new on the market. He's like, yeah, this would be great for your pain. I was having like extreme pain in my knee or my ankle. I just can't remember which it was. All it needed was rest, really. That's all it needed. Out there, crossing over dudes and dunking on them. I mean, it takes its toll on the knees, right? Ask LeBron. All I needed was some rest. So he gave me the pills. I remember taking them, and I put them in a drawer, and I never took them again. And threw them out a couple, sometime later after that, I threw them out. I'm like, OxyContin? I don't know what this is. I'm not taking this. Brian writes, FDA and Oxy, of course, but it's deeper than that. FDA and all the food they approve. I worked in food production, and they let horrible conditions go. Is that right? Charles writes, you can only ball on a certain level. Pookie and Ray Ray don't have the Sacklers' resources. Correct, Amundo. Correct, Amundo. You're right about that. Absolutely. It's just interesting, though. It's just real interesting. Like, we never talk about the legal drugging of America. We talk about street drugs. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that dog and whatever else you can get on the streets. Right? That's the people that do that are bad people. They're evil people selling that poison. Why are you selling that poison to your people? What's the difference? Dope is dope. Janice writes, history was never meant to make certain groups of people feel uncomfortable. History is to merely show how we got to where we are today. Correct, Amundo, Janice. I'm with you 1,000%. And that's why I just don't understand it. As long as you're teaching facts, then teach my kids the facts. If that makes them come home and feel some kind of way, then we'll talk about it at home. But you teach them the facts. If those are the facts, that's the facts. Period. Can't get mad at the facts. Or maybe you can get mad at the facts. I don't know. TNT writes, the drug dealer buy Jordans, crackheads buy cracks, and the white man gets paid off of all of that, Kanye. Kamikia writes, watch Dope Sick on Hulu. Gives a whole overview of the Sackler family and rise of OxyContin. It's crazy. Is that right? I've seen that. Haven't plugged in. You saying that? Okay, I'll check that out. Is that right? The Sackler family got rich off dope. That's a true American success story, right? You know, capitalism and all. Kaz is in the house. She writes, hello, happy Friday. Happy Friday to you, Kaz. Good to see you. I just wanted to share that with you because the story is out there. Like I said, if you Google it, there's a multitude of stories. I just wasn't sure if it was on your radar screen or not. That's why I'm gonna hit you the game. That's it. One of many interesting things that are happening around the country. I went to fill up my gas tank day before yesterday. Cause that's what I do. You know, we just fill it up. You know, why play games with it? You know, fill it all the way up. That way I spend less time going to the gas station. I save time and money. Man, I filter up, man. It cost me a whole $10 extra than what I'm usually, you know, paying for. And I'm like, damn, how long we gonna do this? So, I mean, to me, what's happening with the gas, these might not be the most sizzly topics. This is just what's on my mind. This is what I have to share for you, or with you. But as I was standing there looking at this $10 increase in me filling up the gas tank, I thought to myself, damn, I gotta get an electric vehicle. You know, I'm gonna seriously look into this because why the hell are gas prices so high right now? It must be OPEC. OPEC is curtailing production. They're scaling back on production, which jacks up the price of a barrel of oil. That's what it is. This is pure just, we doing it just because we can. Oh, it's a war. Oh, yeah, we're going to make a lot of money. There's a meme that's circulating. It's so damn funny. This meme is so funny. Hold on one second. It's a meme of a man who appears to be Middle Eastern. Now, y'all might have some problems with this, but I'm on some irreverent shit. Okay, so follow me. But he appears to be Middle Eastern. And I think he reads something like, this is what gas station owners look like right now. And he's got a gold shirt on, like it's like a gold chainmail shirt, all made of gold. He's got gold all over his wrist. He's got a gold watch on. He's got dollars in his hands. It's fucking hilarious, man. It's funny. It's not disrespectful at all. Somebody's like, is this disrespectful? What's disrespectful about it? It's funny. Live a little. Gosh darn, let me see if I can find it. This is hilarious. Oh, I know where it is. This is hilarious. Funny stuff. I gotta show this to you. Oh, man. I think it's in here, actually. Now, I didn't talk it all the way up, and I don't find it. I'm gonna be pissed. Where is it? Oh my gosh. Maybe it's somewhere else. Hold on one second. You might have seen it. It is hilarious. I wish I owned a gas station right now. Or I wish I was a part of OPEC. Oil producing and exporting countries is what I think that stands for. OPEC. Man. Woo, man. You talk about a lifelong hustle. They got a lifelong hustle. Let me see. I'm looking for it. Somebody sent it to me. I thought I saved it, but apparently I did not. It is so freaking funny. Anyway, I can't find it. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. You might have seen it. It is hilarious, man. But that's what it is. It's all capitalism. You know, shit, gas is high because they can get away with it. You got to have a car. Let me give me a little something electric. You know what I'm saying? Because that's, I mean, it is what it is. You know, in most cases, you got children especially, or you work a long distance from your house. You got to have a car. So you kind of stuck on that. Kush writes, there are horror stories out there. Yes, it is. Nakia writes, the biggest dope dealers in America is the pharmaceutical companies. Correctamundo, Nakia. She's absolutely right. The biggest dope dealers are the legal dope dealers. The biggest dope dealers are the state. These state stores. That Aki Hall. Come on now. Aki Hall's a drug too. We're acting like it's not. Those are the biggest dope dealers. Meanwhile, you worried about Pookie and Ray Ray. I don't care. I don't care about this little low-level stuff. If we're going to do this, get the big boys. You know what I'm saying? If we're going to do this, get the big boys. Hold on one second here. Let me take a quick pause. I'll come right back. Nathan Ivey with you. You got me up until the top of the hour. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, good morning, everybody. I want to remind you that today's show is brought to you in part by our friends over at Renew Community Church. They do a Sunday morning live stream every Sunday morning. You can tap in on Facebook at facebook.com/Cincy Renew, or you can tap in on YouTube at Renew Community Church live stream. Hold on one second here. Let's see. Oh, be careful what you say. Oh, I don't know what I was saying. It's all good. See here. Yes, Renew Community Church live stream. Facebook.com/Cincy Renew. You can also download a free ebook and or coaching. RenewCommunityChurch.org. Sunday morning masterclass. All right, check it out. Check it out. All right, back with you. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind. Whatever I said is whatever I said. Good morning to you. See, back to your chat. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Coerce, is that what that is? Coerced? I was prescribed Oxy in 2010. Didn't get off it until 8 years later. Really? Wow. Yeah, I never did, man. Like I said, I got prescribed Oxy for, I think it was a knee injury, and I never took it, so I don't know. I do know it's like a really, really powerful painkiller, I think it is. And I'm just really shy about those kind of things. Like, for me to take some Oxy, man, I gotta damn near have, I don't know, broken an arm or a leg or something like that. It's gotta be like severe pain. And then I'm still only gonna take a little bit of it because I don't want to get hooked on that kind of stuff. There's people out there that took Oxy for one thing, end up getting hooked. Wasn't Michael Jackson taking Oxy? Wasn't Michael Jackson taking Oxy? I think he was. I think Michael was taking Oxy for a little while. And that was a part of like the cocktail that was just like messing him all up. And, you know, sometimes it just hits your body chemistry, your brain chemistry a certain way. And before you know it, you hooked on it. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I feel bad for it. I think people who are addicted, cursed, right. Silly me, right. QUE, cursed. I was shot back then. Oh, you got shot. Okay. So you took the Oxy to get over the pain and got hooked on it. That's what I've heard. Now, some might argue that it's not the pharmaceutical company's fault that you got hooked. Like, they didn't want you to get hooked per se. They just had a product. People misused it. How is it their fault? But I think there's a little bit more to it. Than that. When you're producing substances that you know are highly addictive, or you find out once it gets to the general market it's highly addictive and it's got some side effects you didn't plan for, what you supposed to do? Oh, okay, thanks. I didn't say anything. Oh, okay. I might say anything. So you hear me say something crazy behind the mic and I think it's all, just ignore it. I'm grown. Let me see. Thank you, Drop. Appreciate it. Mike was taking propofol. I know he was taking propofol, but I thought he was taking OxyContin too. But I know he was taking that propofol, which is like some shit you should never be taking. I feel for Mike, man. Like I said, addiction is a real thing. Some people don't have sympathy for addiction, but I do. I got a lot of sympathy for people that are addicted because I realize they say it's a disease. I can see that. I can see it. There are people out there that they're at a party and they drink, they get a little drink, never drank before. Now it's something about that, the way it hits their body chemistry, they back for more. Next thing you know, alcoholic. Same people happen. There's a lot of people. It's funny how weed addiction is acceptable though. Like, weed addiction is cool. That makes you cool because you smoke weed, right? You like Snoop. All the hip hop artists are smoking weed, but you can be addicted to weed. People say, oh, you can't be addicted. You can be addicted to marijuana. There are plenty of people, the first thing they do when they get out, the last thing they do when they go to bed, and the first thing they do when they get up in the morning is reach for that blunt. They are addicted. There are people out there that cannot make a move without smoking first. They can't go nowhere in public without being high. They can't make a move without smoking. And it's just all addiction, man. People get caught up with that shit, and it can destroy your family, your finances, your home, your marriage, all down the drain because you got hooked on something. It's very, very sad. Very, very sad. Hold on a second. No, it's not. No, it's not, Drop. Carla writes, it is one of the meds that is used in rotation for sickle cell. However, it is prescribed in a 12-count dose. Once gone, you don't get any more for a specific length of time. We have to attend pain management appointments so the addiction is less likely to happen. You talking about OxyContin? The kid writes, you also can have a tobacco addiction, to be blunt. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So I have nothing but sympathy for folks that get caught up with addiction because in a lot of cases, they want to get off of it, but the drug got them. Now, if you've never dealt with addiction or you don't have that kind of empathy, you might be looking at them and like, man, whatever. But everybody got their addiction. You got people out there that's addicted to snacks. You got people out there that's addicted to snacks. They got to have some kind of sugary snack every day. Oh, that's my thing. I love Butterfingers. I love paydays. I love water. But a payday? When I was a kid, maybe. But I as a man now. But you know, you can get hooked on a lot of different stuff. A lot of wake and bake, that's right. Now again, I'm not judging people. Like if you wake and bake every day and that's how you get started, do you? There's a lot of functional, man, there's so many functional drug addicts out there. If you go to work every day, you probably dealing with a functional drug addict. They either taking pills, they either taking weed, alcohol, something, sugar, something. Janice writes, Will Smith's sister told of her weed addiction on Red Table Talk. She said she couldn't go through the day without smoking all day. Yeah. I know people like that. I know people that the first thing they do in the morning is reach for that blunt. And they're reaching for the blunt all day. Blunt. I know people that probably go through like 4 or 5 blunts a day. If not more than that. Blunts all day. And see, the thing about that shit is that now you're smoking the blunt paper. That's got carcinogens in it. So, you know, we all got on this conversation. We was talking about the Sackler family and opioid addiction. I just want my people to be healthy. I want you to be healthy. That's all. I bring this topic to you in love. You know, nothing more. I'm not judging anybody. I'm in no position to judge anybody. I bring this to you in love. You know, if you're dealing with addiction, man, try your best. Tobacco, yep. Kush writes, just say no to drugs. It's so hard to do. Charles writes, sex, gambling can be an addiction too. Absolutely. There's some dudes out there, sex addicts. There's some women out there, sex addicts. You know, it's something about the feeling. It's gotta, and not something about, we already know what it is, but they gotta have it. Or they feel like they gotta have it. There's a difference between a habit and an addiction. You're right. There is addiction. You're right, there is a difference. But for too many people, that habit becomes an addiction. And I get it. Again, I ain't here to judge nobody. Jack writes, they don't prescribe pain medicine to black folks when needed. I've had that experience too. I've been had to go to the emergency and I felt like, hey, give me what I need. And they're like, well, you know, see, last time we gave you, I'm like, give me what I need, right? They try to play you like you're a dope addict. Man, you don't get out of here. Brent writes, Chris Christie didn't have any sympathy for addicts until his brother was strung out. A lot of people are like that. Crystal writes, I don't even believe in taking ibuprofen. Well, I'm a cardiac survivor, cardiac patient, so they got me on a whole cocktail every single day for the rest of my life. So other than that, I wouldn't be taking anything, but I feel you on the ibuprofen. And plus, you know, after months and months of that, it'll wreck your damn insides. Nat writes, did you see KD and Kyrie thump Embiid and Harden like they stole something last night? I did see the highlights. Yeah, they did. They wanted to let James Harden know, like, look, bro, you should have stayed here. Rush Limbaugh was a big OxyContin head. He was even so much of a punk that he sent his housekeeper around to different pharmacies to pick up his drugs. Brent, you're right about that. I've forgotten. You're right. You're right. You're right. I've forgotten about that. Yeah, I mean, most people can get hooked on something. You can get hooked. Don't think you over it. You just ain't been experienced to it, right? You ain't been exposed to it, so you don't really know what it's going to do to you or what it's not going to do to you. But I don't look down on people because they had a dope addiction. I know there were some people in the audience, Fame and others, they had a problem with Michelle Dillingham. I don't look it down. Anybody can have an addiction. It's what you do once you get the addiction or you have some issues that I judge you on. Now, you show me somebody, that's why we celebrate people who say they clean and sober. That ain't no easy thing to do. That's hard. Like, people die fighting their addiction, especially like alcohol. Man. My favorite Nick Nolte movie of all time, and don't say no freaking Con Air, is Leaving Las Vegas. Classic. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. Leaving Las Vegas. This guy, alcohol, circle and drain. But his portrayal of an alcoholic was just so moving. So moving. You should check that out. Super dope. Make you not want to ever drink a damn thing. Pat writes, no guest. The guest is scheduled for like 1:45. And speaking of which, let me make sure I send this invite out because I don't want to miss them. Did anybody get a chance to see The Batman? I did give you a non-spoiler review. I won't spoil it until later. Maybe next week. Give you a little bit of time. Did anybody get a chance to see The Batman? Are you going to see it this weekend? I want to hear what you have to think. I gave it a solid 8. 8 out of 10. Other people were saying it's like a 9 or a 10. For a movie to be a 10 out of 10, that means that every second is you got me. And there are a few weak points in the movie. In particular, I've got an issue with Robert Pattinson. Okay? Got an issue with him. He could have played that better. Drop writes, Leaving Las Vegas. Yeah, Leaving Las Vegas is a very sad movie. It's a drama. But just to see this man circle the drain slowly, bottle after bottle, is like, wow. Is that what that's like? Oh, you gonna see it this weekend? Okay, tell me what you think. 8 out of 10 for me, solid. Best Batman movie ever, next to The Dark Knight. And the only reason why The Dark Knight is still competing is because of the performance of Heath Ledger. That's a classic performance from the Joker. He just made the whole movie. As a Batman, I take Robert Pattinson over all of them, including, Ben Affleck? Oh, yeah. I take him over Ben Affleck, too. But there were some things he could have did differently. And I've had this critique of other Batmans as well. I'll share it with you probably next week. No need to get to it now. Kush writes, I remember the 80s and 90s cocaine epidemic. Yes, I do, too. You know, I'm a child of the 70s, so I remember it. Tabitha writes, I'm still fighting for meds and I had freaking back surgery. Really? Brett writes, The Batman was maybe a 6 out of 10. It was more of a crime thriller than an action movie, and it was long and a lot of slow stretches. Really? Okay. Okay, appreciate it. Got to change. He says 6 out of 10. I said 8 out of 10, which in a 10-point scale, 2 points is a lot. But interesting. Not a 10 out of 10, though, but still, if you like that genre, you got to check it out. It's just what it is. Go ahead and spend that money. It is what it is. I know y'all remember talking about OPEC a couple years ago. I said, watch out for OPEC. Yeah, that's what's happening is OPEC is taking this war as an opportunity to slow down oil production, which what does that do? That raises the prices of a barrel of oil, which means it raises the prices of when you go to put oil or, petrol in your car. That's just what it is. How can they do this, Nate? Because they can. Because might makes right. That's why. And what it really should be is a wake-up call for this nation. And see, to be quite honest with you, it's even deeper than that. See, a lot of the BS that we get ourselves in around the globe is that we're competing for depleting resources. The United States is competing with other countries for depleting resources, one of them being oil. And if we could get ourselves wean ourselves off of foreign oil, then we would be in a position to mind our own damn business a lot more. But because we need natural resources, including oil, we got to spick our business around the world, around the globe. And it's going to affect us here. This should be a wake-up call for us to further invest in, different sources of energy. I know I'm boring the shit out of you, right? But I'm just going to put it out there. This should be a wake-up call for us to invest in different forms of energy consumption in a very serious way. But we got a car culture we got to feed, right? Everybody wants a car, brand new car, right? Everybody got their favorite dream car, and they're not electric. So there's a price to pay for all that vanity and showing off. You want to show off in your new automobile? There's a price to pay for it. That means that we are dependent on sources outside the mainland United States for our energy, which means that we got to stick our nose in other people's fracas and issues. It's just what it is. It is what it is. Who's going to see New Edition? They say Bobby moving like TD Jakes. Is that right? Is that right? Brian writes 7 for Batman. The ending made me mad and how they sloppily brought in social issues. It was entertaining and the fight scenes and action was the most realistic I have seen. Fight scenes even better than Batman Rising. I enjoyed it though. Okay. He said 7. Okay, I'm not too far off. I said 8. Kush writes, do you have to be a follower of Batman to enjoy the movie? No, but it'll help you, because if you're already invested in the mythology of it and you've already enjoyed it, then you're going to be naturally curious about what they're doing with the latest iteration, number one. Number two, the movie what's different about this Batman movie is they don't spend a lot of time going deep into explaining as to what happened with his parents. It's kind of like they reference it, but they don't really explicitly show you. So having a frame of reference for who Batman was, well, now we're talking about Batman, and what his origin story is will help you. But no, you don't have to. You don't have to. I'm just curious as to what you think. Tabitha writes, we need a class action lawsuit against those doctors holding us back off meds to help us recover. Is that right? Hold on one second here. I want to make sure that my guest can get into the show. It's almost that time. Wait a minute. What's going on here? Before I roll out of here, though, I got to talk about an icon. And before my guest comes, I want to talk about Carl Westmoreland. Carl Westmoreland passed away this week. I'm not sure if you know who he is, but Carl Westmoreland was that dude. He was an intellectual for the culture in a very meaningful way. He was a consultant with the Freedom Center these last few years. I think he was like a director on some levels. You could see him talking with people doing tours. You might even do a tour and he would talk to you about the history of the slave pen. Just a lot of knowledge. I got to know Carl through doing radio. And I don't remember what happened. I don't remember if I invited him on or he just became aware of the show. But he came on the show many times. He was always very friendly. He actually gave me a couple of books that he signed, right, for me. And I don't know, he just took a liking to me. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it was. But we had some really interesting interactions and conversations. There was one point in which I was thinking about taking a position at the Freedom Center. And I believe that he was supportive of that as well. This was a long time ago. I don't even remember what the job was. But he passed away. Cincinnati icon. And his legacy is deep. He will definitely be not forgotten. Again, he was always... he came on the show many times and we chopped it up about the history of race and just what was going on. He was always super strong mentally. Super strong mental. He seemed like a very nice guy, too. And he was 100% for black people and also educating the larger masses about the multiple contributions of melanated people in this country. And he was very serious about that. So I just want to pay my respects to Carl Westmoreland. I know he passed away this past week. I hadn't spoken with him in years. I think the last time I saw him, I was at the Freedom Center for something. There was an event. A sister was coming through. She was raising awareness about something, and he was there, and we just spoke very quickly in passing. But we did spend a little time together on the show, and he always blessed us with his flows. Seemed like a good guy. 85 years old, man. I hope I live to be 85. That's a good long life. And he was still doing his thing all the way to the end, as I understand it. So I just want to say, props to that brother. And we always had good interactions. We always had good interactions. Brenda writes, Carl Westmoreland had his 85th birthday. 3'8", great man. 3'8", just had his 85th birthday. Then he passed away. 85. Wow. Anybody hit the Carl Westmoreland? If you are, you are. If you're not, you're not. It is what it is. But I don't remember the circumstances, but I remember it was a couple. It might have been 2 or 3 books. I'm not sure if he was the author or not, or it was just some knowledge that he wanted to impart on me, right? Because real recognize real, and I think people could pick that up through the radio, like, oh, this brother's something different about him. So let me support him. And Janice writes, I grew up with Carl Westmoreland. Did you? And I can't even tell you I know all about his history and everything he's done. I'm just saying, just from my limited experience, being around the brother, he seemed to be a stand-up brother, super smart, intelligent, and he was all about black folks, black people. So how could you have a problem with that? U.S. energy production in 2019 under Trump was higher than U.S. energy consumption for the first time in 62 years. Thus, the U.S. attained the long-held goal of energy dependence. Yeah, but it's even higher now. It's even higher under Biden. I know this because his press secretary just corrected somebody from Fox News who made the same point. So I get it. Kush writes, salute. Oh, absolutely. Carl Westmoreland, absolutely, all day, every day. He seemed like a good brother, and we just would talk. Our conversation was about, I can't remember the conversations were about, quite honestly. I don't remember. Something to do about us, the history of us. You know what I'm saying? So much that's overlooked and forgotten and just ignored that a lot of ground to cover. Roy writes, good morning, everyone. Hey, good to see you, Roy. Good to see you, brother. Let me see if I can put Carl Westmoreland's image on the screen here. Because, listen, man, people deserve to be respected. They deserve to be respected. Hold on. Brother right here. People say he was a great man. To my knowledge, I have nothing else to say. I wouldn't challenge that. I got no challenges there. Yeah, got no challenges whatsoever. Let me see if I can grab this for you real quick so people can actually see Mr. Westmoreland. I think it's important. It's important to me. All right, check this. This is Carl Westmoreland right here. There's a brother. Yep. You might have seen, if you went to the Freedom Center, you might have seen him there. Or maybe you saw him on television talking about issues, things like that. Jack writes, Westmoreland remind me of Cornel West. I can see that. But our very own Cornel West here in the Cincinnati area knew a lot of people, touched a lot of folks. And I'm trying to search. I just cannot remember what our conversations were about when he came on the show. I don't know if it was a book that was out or if it was about the Freedom Center itself and what it was. I can't remember exactly what it was. But like I said, whatever it was, he just took a liking to your boy. And we became very friendly. Lisa writes, Nate, have you sent out the investment email off topic? My apologies. No, I have not, Lisa. I'll be doing that between this weekend and next weekend. I need to confirm with the CPA on a date so we can do a virtual session. And essentially what will happen is he'll come on and talk about what the plan is. He'll talk about who he is, number one, and what he's done and what he can offer. And then what the plan is. Then I'll give people some time to make a decision, and then we'll start the club. And what we've decided is that everyone will have their own individual account that you can manage, but we'll all make the same investments on a regular basis. Okay, so we'll all be investing in the same things, per what the CPA recommends. And he made a recommendation. He made a recommendation to me, which I thought made sense. But for the folks who are involved, he can make it to everybody. We can make a decision as to whether you want to be involved, and if so, then we'll start it, and we can start ASAP. Dale writes, he is an ancestor. Speaking of Carl Westmoreland, absolutely. You got to give respect to the folks, the giants that come before you, man. And again, he was always very friendly with me. I just don't remember the conversation. I'm searching as I sit here right now, trying to figure out what we talked about. I just don't remember. 1 second here. All right, let's go to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Nathan Ivy and the good people of Cincinnati, as well as the good people around the world, and yes, those choppers. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Welcome.
You cover a number of topics today. Let's see if we can fly through these topics. See Mr. Smolik has been sentenced to 150 days? That's a vacation. Good behavior, he'll be out in about 60 days. That's nothing. Maybe you can explain, what was he throwing the fist up in the air in the courtroom, yelling at the judge and screaming he's not suicidal and he didn't do this? Stop it. Come on. The evidence is there. Come on. Serve the 60 days. Good behavior, you'll be out. You'll have a book deal, a movie. Come on, stop it. Not too many people will probably have you on TV, but hey, it is what it is. You put yourself in this position, fine. Let's move on from there. You were talking about the drug situation, and I agree with your assessments on the drugs. Of course, people that get hooked on these drugs. But I do agree with, I think you partly talked about the federal government's involvement with drugs. This goes back a long way. And we can go back to the Vietnam War. Some of my good friends that was in the Vietnam War would tell me stories about some of those American soldiers coming back in the bodies, and the body bag had drugs pumped into the bags. Who was orchestrating that? Did some of these colonels and generals smuggle drugs in the body bags and get it here? Remember that movie Denzel Washington did? What was the name of that movie where he was a drug dealer and he cut a deal with the Vietnams. He went over there.
Right. He was portraying a dope dealer, American Gangster.
Yeah, that's it. I couldn't remember the title. But that's a clear shot at. Now Denzel was making his money, but once the mob found out, he wasn't cutting no deals with the mob, and he was giving you pure cocaine. Well, once the federal government and the mobs gets involved, they want to cut you. They don't want a black man to make nothing. Come on, what's that about? So I agree with you. Little poopy on the corner selling his little drugs. But the white boys can do it. They can get away with it. It's okay. You think the federal government's not involved with this? Okay, let's go forward with that. Remember when when Bush Jr. sent the troops over there in Afghanistan, and they was over there. Well, where do you think the drugs are coming from? From up the poppy fields. It's coming from the mountains up there. You think the federal government is not aware of that? Which cuts the drugs down to the pharmaceutical companies. They slice it up, dope it up, and sell it on the street. How did this get through the FDA? How did this stuff, those drugs you were talking about, get through the FDA without the federal government knowing about it? It's a game. It's who can cut the deal. Let me give you another scenario. If you saw that episode on Miami Vice with Crockett and Tubbs, they went to Panama and they were chasing that drug dealer, and at the end of that show, it led them to New York in a high-rise building where the white boy, the old fart, was selling drugs, and Crockett, he went up there and went right past the secretary. I can't touch you, man, but beware. I'm looking over your shoulder, and I'm going to watch you. And that white boy smirked at Trump, at Crockett, knowing he couldn't be touched. You think America knows about this stuff? It's been going on. America helped pump the stuff. Where does it go mostly? Into the black community. But as soon as the white boys get drugged up, oh, it's a problem. We gotta fix this. Yeah, sure. So, I listened to your scenario about the drugs. This is nothing new. We've heard this stuff over and over and over again. But as you were talking, it kind of dropped me into the scenario of Trump. Now, it still plays into the drug system. Trump has been stealing millions of dollars from these banks. Well, I call it stealing, but the banks gave him millions of dollars for his crooked deals, and he never paid back a penny. Will me and Nathan Ivey go to the bank and say, hey, we want to start this project? Oh, no, we got to check you from here to sundown. You got bad credit? No, you're not going to get it. So it shows you what you were talking about and what I'm thinking about. There are two scenarios in this country, one for them and one for us. We don't play the deal or got people in high places, you're not going to get the deal, or you got to fight twice as hard. So be it Vietnam, pharmaceutical companies, drug dealers, white boys with deep pockets, they get away with it. It's okay. You step over the line, black people, a little Cookie and Pompey on the corner, well, they want to lock you up and throw the key away and blame it on your parents, bad leadership family. Oh, the cycle goes on and on and on. Your comments, sir. I'm out of breath.
No comments, John. I got a guest coming in, man. I appreciate your call. I'm glad you got in.
Well, next week, hopefully you get me in so we can talk about Sankofa, African American 3.
Absolutely, man. Choppers support choppers, for sure. Let's set it up over the weekend.
All right, then.
Yep. Take it easy.
Have a good weekend. Yeah.
You too, man. Yeah, John doing big things. Y'all keep playing with John. John is not playing. He is serious about life. He doing things out here, real things. Okay? Important things. I ain't joking. I got TT Stearns Enzi backstage. TT, can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up. You can hear me? No, you can't hear me. I can see the look on his face. He's working on the audio side of things. I don't know what's going on this morning. When you do this with this virtual stuff, with this, I use something called Restream. If you're interested in doing live streams look like this, let me know. I'll send you a link and you get about $10 off. They'll kick me a little something too as an affiliate. So just let me know. But it's an imperfect science. You never know. Just give me a thumbs up when you're ready, TT, and I'll bring you straight on. I can just he's looking like that. That's hilarious. Oh my God, let's see his face real quick. You gotta see his face. Look. That's the look when people are trying to figure stuff out on the screen. We've all seen that with these Zoom and virtual situations. People it's hilarious. I got mad love for. Oh, so you hilarious, Kevin. Kevin's hilarious. I got mad love for John, man. Dude, make my day. Dude makes my day. Commercial coming in 3, 2, 1. Oh man, they need a check for these promos. Yeah, I don't mind, man. I don't mind. Dale writes, that was a 4th-degree misdemeanor, which is usually punishable by probation and not more than 30 days in jail. You talking about with Jussie Smollett? I played the video for you. He said, if I did do it, I did it for the culture. He didn't use culture, but that's what he's. If I did do it, now when somebody says if I did do it, that means they really did do it. And what did he do? Basically made up some story about some white supremacists in the middle of a snowstorm. Come on, man, ain't nobody in the snow. Snow. Racism, snow, fighting cold, racism. They don't hate you that much, Jussie. But then it looks like he made the whole thing up to get. I don't know why he did it. Actually, I don't know. Was he trying to do it for the culture because he wanted to give the culture another example of racism, and then people could rally behind it, and then we can get money for black businesses? I don't know. I don't know what he was thinking, but it didn't work. Elbert's on Facebook. What's up, Elbert? Carl was the first man to set up a community development corp in Cincinnati with the Mount Auburn Good Housing Corp. Is that right? See, I knew it. I knew the brother did a whole lot more than I even know. but I know enough to show respect for those that came before us. Brian writes, on your show, Carl, I believe, was talking about the history of black ownership in Cincinnati. That rings a bell. And community investment and development. In that conversation, he touched on racism, discrimination, etc. That rings a bell. That does ring a bell. I still don't remember it, but that rings a bell. That sounds like me. That sounds like the kind of conversation I'd be down for. So, drop rice, $4.51 per gallon of gas in California. Gas is goddamn high. Somebody sent me a meme, and it is so hilarious, but it's irreverent. I love irreverent memes. I'm going to show you a meme. It's irreverent. Don't get in your feelings. Like, oh, that's wrong, Nate. It's not wrong. It's the internet. The internet is never wrong. Let me see if I can find this for you. The internet is never wrong, or rarely wrong. Where's this at? Now I can't find shit. It would be like that. You get on the air, can't find none of the stuff you was looking for. Like, I thought I had this right. Hold on one second. You got to see this. The meme reads, "This is how high gas is." You want to see it? You sure? All right, I'll show it to you. This is how high gas is. They are funny for that, man. That's Whitney and Bobby. What? That's funny. Come on now. It's funny. Just go with it. Go with it. Just let it happen. Just let this happen. Hold on, let me see. Sure. I'll get it for you. I know you've seen it. I ain't the only one to see these memes circulating. I love the memes. I plan on doing whole segments on just memes. Just using nothing but memes real soon. Hold on, I want you to see this. This is how high gas is right now. Oh my gosh. I love the internet, man. People are so creative. Human beings can be so cruel and creative. Check that out. This is how high gas is. Now, you know that's funny. If you're not laughing right now, you don't have a sense of humor. You don't have a sense of humor. Kevin writes, now that's high as hell. Right, exactly. That's high as hell. Now that's high. Joe writes, they wrong. Are they not wrong for this? This is what we live for, man. A great meme? Nothing like a great meme. I know you got a meme buddy, and if you don't have a meme buddy, I will be your meme buddy. You can send me all the hilarious memes that you find. Drop Rice, Nate, you want to be my meme buddy on Twitter? Absolutely, bro. You already know. Daryl Rice shaking my damn head. But that's how high gas is right now. That was super high. TT's still backstage. Still having issues, TT? Can you hear me? She's like, I don't hear a damn thing. I don't know what's going on. Let me see if I bring him on, then maybe it'll work then. Yo, TT, can you hear us? Can you hear me? He's got that look like, no, I don't know what's going on. Oh, thank you for the share, FG. I appreciate it. I don't know. I want to talk to TT. I don't know. I'm not going to be here at 10:30. Hopefully we can get it in because there's something going on this weekend that he wants to share with you and I want you to hear. You know, I want to keep you up to date as much as possible. But yes, I will be your meme buddy. Send me all your memes. I love a good meme. And my humor runs dark. I got a different side. That's not a meme. My humor, I got a different side. I got a different kind of humor. You know, I got a different kind of sense of humor. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know. There's absolutely nothing I can do at this point. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. Kelly's cracking up. That is hella funny, Kelly. Everything is cutting in and out. Oh, okay. I don't know. Charles writes, they have the high gas memes with Snoop and Willie Nelson and Cheech and Chong as well, really. Tony writes, funny for some, sad for others, Bobby and Whitney. Right, I get it. Now, no way you laughing at what happened to Whitney. You would never do that. But I'm just saying, the meme in and of itself, like that little moment, is just all I'm talking about. she lost her daughter, herself, due to drugs. The drugs. Taking people out left or right, man. A lot of pressure being Whitney Houston, I'm sure. Number one, you're famous, so you got the pressure of being famous. Number two, you're rich, or people think you're rich. You got the pressure of being rich, or people think you're rich. And number three, you're a creative performer, and you always want to make sure that you keep that same level of production. And I think some of these creative folks, man, they struggle with, they have a hot album, and now you got to come up with a second album. And it's like, ooh, I'm struggling with that. I think that's a struggle for a lot of creative folks, the consistency of greatness. And I think in some cases it makes them turn that to the drugs. I like the gas store one. Let me see here. Let me see if I can find this meme. Here it is. This is hilarious, man. You cannot tell me this is not funny. This is hilarious. Hold on, wait. This is hilarious. This is not culturally insensitive. This is just hilarious. Okay, so don't hit me with all that diversity stuff. Don't hit me with that. Okay? I'm immune to that. I'm exempt from that. We don't have to subscribe to those rules. Right? We do something different here. Okay, check this out. This is the meme I was talking about that I saw that I thought was like, wow, this is funny. Check this out. Gas station owners right now. He got what the fuck? Gold everything. And some diamonds. Gas station owners right now. I know that's right. Where'd you get that shirt from, yo? Where they sell that at? Can I get a black owned version of that shirt? Okay, let me try TT again because it's just not working. T still not working, man? Okay, I just gave him the phone number, and maybe we can get TT just to call in because I want to talk with him, but I don't want to. It seems like that's not going to work. So I just sent him the number. Maybe he'll give us a call here, and I'll bring him on. Because, again, there's an event happening that I know he wants to share with you. And I want to pick his brain just a little bit as well. We got time. Let's see what happens. I see he might be dialing right now. You give us a call, TT? I think so. Yeah, I think he is. So just sit tight for me just a little bit, and we'll bring that call to you. Alrighty, here it is. Hey, what's up, TT?
Hey, what's up?
Doing well.
I feel like I'm on now.
Yeah, you are. Are you on speaker?
Yes, I am.
Okay. I think that'll work for what we're doing here. So what I'm going to do is, I see you backstage. I'm going to remove you because sometimes what will happen is it'll create like it'll just be a feedback loop with the audio. It'll just sound real bad. So I'm trying to remove you, but every time I remove you, you come right back. There it is. We're good now. You still hear me, right? Yo, TT.
Okay. Yeah, now I got you.
There it is. Now it sounds good. What's up, man?
How you doing?
I'm doing well. What's going on?
You know what? This is, as always, a busy time. Critics' Choice, award season stuff. And I mentioned to you before, we also have the kickoff of the Freedom Film Series that's coming this Tuesday. So, as usual, my life is busy with film-based projects.
Okay, sounds dope. I love it, man. Before we get to that, man, have you seen the new Batman movie? I got to ask you that.
I have seen the new Batman. As a matter of fact, I posted a review last week after we did it on Fox 19, and Rotten Tomatoes picked that thing up, and people are like, it's getting hits all over the place. That's the film of the moment.
Okay. How would you rate it?
I gave it a B, just because it's dark in that, the whole Christopher Nolan kind of way, but there's also some nice little teasing hints of like Seven and even Saw, although it doesn't go quite as far with the graphic nature of the violence and all that. But again, it's a dark and heavy and gritty kind of world.
Mm-hmm. It is. It definitely is. Definitely something different.
Yeah, definitely different.
I've been telling people if you're a fan of the genre, you got to check it out just for the genre's sake to see what they're doing new with it.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm actually looking forward to see where they go next with it, because I feel like even though there's some teases there at the end of traditional characters that we expect, I think they have the opportunity to bring in villains and characters that we haven't seen in any other Batman adaptations before. Which again, that's the stuff that I feel like by now we need to start doing, like opening that world up a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you on that. What's going on this weekend?
Well, again, this weekend we've got all of the award shows going on. Like I said, I've already voted for Critics' Choice, so my wife and I are not going to the show for Sunday, so we will be sitting at home watching it on either the CW or I believe it's on either TBS or TNT. We'll be watching it live at home. But then Tuesday night, we're doing, like I said, this thing with the Freedom Center, which that's where really my head and all of my energy is going right now, because we're looking forward to really kind of kicking this off in a big way. We've got the director of the film coming in, his wife, who's also a producer, they're both going to be in. So we're going to do the screening and then have what I'm hoping will be an amazing talk back afterward. Because it's a great and timely story. It's going to give us a chance to have some really great conversations, and I'm looking forward to again for the opportunity for people here to be able to come out and see this kind of stuff, ask questions to directors, and really just give us all a chance to engage with each other about all this.
Yeah, I love it, man. So is it one film or multiple films? And if people are interested in being there on Tuesday, what do they need to do?
Yeah, it's one film for right now. We're going to do these on a quarterly basis, this Freedom Film Series. So we're kicking it off with Hold Your Fire, Tuesday night, 6 p.m. at the Freedom Center. You can go to the OTR or OTRFilmFest.org to get all the information about it. You can click on the Freedom Film Series tab there to get tickets for it. And we, like I said, we'll be doing them on a quarterly basis. So this is just the first one to kind of kick things off. I saw this film in Toronto in September, and it was one of those first probably 2 or 3 films I saw at the festival, and it completely blew me away. But the docs at Toronto this year were incredible, and this is one of the really strong docs that came out of that festival. So once we found out that we could get the opportunity to bring it in, I was excited about that. But then also having a chance to catch up with the director, Stephen Forbes. I've emailed him, I've talked to him a little bit now on the phone, and I cannot wait till we get him here in person, because I think audiences are really I want people to have the opportunity to talk to him and ask him questions about this, because he spent 7 years of his life working to get this film together so that we can see it and kind of dive into these issues. So I'm thrilled that we're bringing him in, and like I said, I want him to get here and have a great time while he's here.
What's the film about?
It is the story of, it takes place in Brooklyn in 72, the story of 4 men who are concerned for their safety in their community. They go into a sporting goods store, try to hold it up so that they can get some guns to protect themselves, and before you know it, things go sour. They end up having what feels like the entire New York police force kind of hovering outside the store, ready to really go in guns a-blazing to try to bring them out. And, the concern, I suppose, at the time was to make sure that there weren't that many civilian casualties along with what they were going to do. But a New York psychologist who was also a police officer, Harvey Schlossberg, was looking at the situation. It's like, well, wait a minute, there's another way for us to do this. We don't need to go in with the full force of the police department. Let's try negotiating with these guys and see if we can handle this in a different way. And it set up the longest hostage-taking kind of crisis that the New York Police Department had ever experienced at that stage. but they were really able, thanks to this guy, to be able to go in, talk to these people, and come up with what was ultimately a relatively peaceful resolution to it that didn't involve massive loss of life and property and all of that. And the film shows you all that through archival footage, but it also takes the opportunity to go back and find people who were alive at the time or who are alive now who experienced that and get their sides of the story. So you've got this whole kaleidoscope of survivors and people who were there kind of commenting on what the experience was like back then, what it's like to look at the world today and to see where we are dealing with police-community relations. Again, it's kind of like almost like a 360 kind of view of things, but not just in terms of the space, but also time as well. Because again, it's also relevant to the things that we're dealing with in today's world as well.
Okay. Interesting. You say you're going to do this quarterly?
Yeah, we're going to do this quarterly. And if you go to the OTR Film Fest website, the dates are there. You'll see we'll be putting up more information as we go along, and people have the opportunity to buy passes for either individual tickets to screenings, or you can buy a pass to the entire four film set that we're going to be doing this year.
Oh, I see. I get it. Yeah. Okay. Sounds very interesting. Partner with the Freedom Center. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. So where is it actually going to be screened at? Is it on the first floor or the second floor? Where do they actually do these screenings?
It's going to be in the big theater in the space there. So,
to the side?
Yeah, we're looking for the opportunity for that, again, that big screen experience. We're going to take full advantage of the stage and, again, bringing people in. It's like I said, we want to make sure that we have those conversations. One of the reasons why this happened in the first place is we did a screening similar to this during the film festival last July. We brought a film in called Black Cop. We got to work with the Freedom Center there. We had a panel. And again, we were still sort of in COVID-like situations, so there were limitations on the number of people that we could have in the space. But we were able to get as many people in there as safely as we could. We showed this film. We had an amazing dynamic discussion afterward with a really great panel of people that were primarily local people for that one. But like I said, in this case, I'm excited because as we're doing this, again, like I said, and we're going to do the best we can for each of the films in the series to find, if not local folks, then the impetus is going to be on us to really bring in, like I said, in this case, the director and producer or other people who were involved in these situations, because we want to make sure that we're spotlighting what's going on in the films. But yeah, if we can bring that talent in as well so they can give their perspective on what was going on, what's the importance of these stories, why we need to be hearing about them. I can't speak highly enough for the idea. That's what film festivals and film programming like this is supposed to do for you. Because we live in a world now where anyone can have access to films because of streaming and all of the capabilities that we have. But it's the extra element that you can't always get. It's going to be, again, these conversations you can have with talent and producers and directors and getting their insight into why they even wanted to explore these stories in the first place and why they feel that they're relevant to the world we're living in right now. That's the content that you can't get just from being able to, sit in your home and click on your Apple TV and pull a film up, which, again, that's a great part of an experience too, but we want to make sure that we're building more into that and creating opportunities for people to come together.
I love it, man. I'm with it. And, as we move forward, whenever this is happening, please come on the show and let us all know all about it. Do you know how much the tickets will be if I want to just go see one doc or one film?
Yeah. Individual tickets are $15 right now. So, yeah, you can, again, we want to see people, maybe this is the opportunity. You come to the first film, you check it out. You have this experience that I'm talking about, and then all of a sudden you'll be like, well, wait a minute, I want to go back and, get the pass, so I'll be ready to see more of these as we come along. So again, I'm hoping this first one will kind of be like the gateway to open people up to this experience so they'll know about it, they'll be ready for them as the rest of them roll out.
And can you purchase the tickets the day of? So if I wait till Tuesday, can I walk up and get the tickets?
You can definitely walk up to the Freedom Center again. Like I said, it's going to start at 6. I believe the doors will open at 5:30. So yes, if you want to come at 5:30. You'll get the chance to get logged in, get your ticket, get a great seat, and yeah, be ready to go along for an amazing journey with this particular story.
Well, TTO, listen, I wish we had more time, man. But let's hook back up soon, man. And I just want to pick your brain on what happened at the film festival and kind of put some things on our radar screen.
Okay, sounds good. As a matter of fact, we should probably try to get together. I think the Oscars are going to be on the 27th this year.
Okay.
So a couple of weeks. So if you want, I'll figure out a way to get back on right before the Oscars. We can really chop it up because this Oscar season has been, or not just Oscar season, but award season as a whole has been really interesting. Again, the world on that side has opened up as well. You've got lots of people who haven't been represented in the past who are here now. And I'm hoping that means that more people will tune into the show because they're going to see some new faces, some new films, some new opportunities that will hopefully bring people more into the idea, again, of us sharing these experiences and going to the theaters and talking about film together again.
I'm with it, brother. So that I'll hit you up via text, and then we'll come up with a date in the next couple of weeks.
Cool. Sounds like Glenn. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming in, man. Thanks for letting us know what's going on.
Okay. Talk to you soon.
Most Def. That's TT Stearns, NZ, everybody. And he said Fox 19 locally. He does like a regular series with them. What I love about TT is he got passion for it. This is what he likes to do. This is something he is really into, and he's into all of films. He ain't just into the black films. He's into all of it, and can give, and can articulate his opinion about it in a way that can help you paint a mental image of what he's saying, and then give you some insights. I mean, there's so many movies out there. I know you love a good documentary, a good film. I can't see everything. I don't know everything that's going on. But through TT, then, he can share his radar screen with us and kind of hip us to what's going on. So stick around for that. It's always interesting. And we talk about everything from the Marvel to like the docuseries that you probably never heard of before, right? The indie sort of thing, the avant-garde. We talk about all of it. So listen, thank you so much for being here. Before we roll out, I want to remind you that today's show was brought to you in part by my friends over at Renew Community Church. They do a Sunday morning masterclass at 11:45 a.m. You can tap in on Facebook at facebook.com/Cincy Renew. That's CINCI Renew. On YouTube, you can tap in on Renew Community Church live stream. This Sunday's topic: transform your emotions every 60 seconds. Feel good all the time. Again, transform your emotions every 60 seconds. It's a series. Feel good all the time. That's this Sunday. Have an excellent rest of your weekend, family. If you want to connect with me, I'm highly accessible, and we'll be in contact. I've got my text information. You want to text me? I've got a text community going on as well, and I will respond. My turnaround time is usually like a day or so. I don't check out every minute. But I do check it on a daily basis. So thank you for being here. Have an excellent rest of your day, family. I really appreciate you. I know you'll be winning over the weekend because when you're an entrepreneur, the work never stops. When you grinding and hustling, the work never stops. Just focus on winning. Until next time, I'm Nathan Ivey, and I'm out.
Yeah. Talking to my mirror.